Hello dear students, I am Dr. Madhuri Goswami and in today's lesson we are going to study punctuation in English. We will take up a bit different approach in this lesson as we will have an ice-breaking session in the beginning of this lesson, and in that session we will have a short quiz. After the quiz, we will discuss what does the punctuation mean, why do we need punctuation, how many types of symbols and signs of punctuations are there in English. In fact, when we talk about punctuation, it's related to our writing skills. Because when we speak, we can express our emotions and feelings and thoughts by using intonation and voice modulation, and we can convey our thoughts quite clearly. But when we write something, we do need punctuations to make our thoughts clearly conveyed to our readers. So, it's an important trait that you need to know if you want to really improve your writing skills. Did you know that capitalization is also the part of punctuation, where we should use the letters in capital and where we should not? This also we will learn during this lesson. So, be ready and take the quiz first and learn all about the punctuation and the rules to be followed. Dear students, if you don't know much about punctuation in English, don't worry. This quiz will give you an idea at least. If you are not able to do the questions rightly or correctly, don't worry at all. This is actually the ice-breaking session of this lesson. So be relaxed and take the quiz. The first question is, a sentence has, now you have three options. The first option is a full stop. The second option is a capital letter. And the third option is a full stop and a capital letter. You just think of the answer and keep it with you. The second question is always capitalize. Now you are supposed to tell what. The first option is the pronoun I. Second option is the first letter of the pronoun we. And the third option is every word in a sentence. Now let's see what's the third question. Do you study English? Is it correct? Just check, is it written correctly? If it's not correct, then what should be the corrections? The answers to these questions we will check at the end of this lesson. So now you just write down the answers, what you think it should be, and then please check at the end of the lesson. So, dear students, what does this quiz indicate? It indicates the use of the punctuation marks in written English, and at the same time, it checks your ability to use the basic punctuation marks correctly. Well, let's know now, what is punctuation? The English language has a system of symbols and signs known as punctuation. Now, why do we need punctuation? It seems a good question. But before answering it, let me ask you a riddle. Are you interested? There is a sentence written over here. Who declared the COVID-19 a pandemic? What do you understand by this sentence? Its answer is WHO declared the COVID-19 a pandemic. So what do you understand? What's this sentence? It's a statement or it's a question? The thing is, it's the punctuation mark at the end of the sentence that tells us whether it's a statement or a question. Otherwise, it's quite confusing. We cannot know, we cannot say that it's that question or its answer, because in both of them, the same words are there. If we put the full stop at the end of this sentence, it's a statement, and this WHO means the World Health Organization. But if we put the question mark at the end of this sentence, then it's a question, it's asking something, and this WHO word is the simple WH word, who. I hope it's crystal clear this is the need of the punctuation in written English. At the same time, there should be the proper capitalization because in this sentence, you just notice every word is written in capital, so we cannot assume that this WHO stands for the World Health Organization or it's just a simple WH word, a question word. Well, now let's meet all the punctuation marks in English. These are the punctuation marks that are commonly used in English grammar. They are the full stop, the question mark, exclamation mark, comma, semicolon, colon, dash, hyphen, parenthesis, brackets, braces, apostrophe, quotation mark, and ellipsis. We have some different names for the same punctuation mark in the American English and the British English. The names which I gave you recently, this is in the British English. Now, in the American English, full stop is called a period. An exclamation mark is called an exclamation point. Brackets are known as parentheses, and square brackets are called just brackets in the American English. In the British English, we don't use full stop with the abbreviations, but in the American English, we use this full stop as a dot after each abbreviation. And sometimes the colon is also named as bullet points. I have divided these punctuation marks into 5 categories. Why so? Why this division? This division is for the convenience of the students so that they can understand this topic clearly. And it is based on the similar function and the use of these punctuations. In the first category, we have the terminal punctuations. 3 of them are full stop, question mark, and exclamation mark. Full stop is also called period in American English. And the exclamation mark is also called the exclamation point in American English. These 3 punctuations are known as the terminal punctuation. What do we mean by terminal punctuation mark? Terminal means the end. So, terminal punctuation marks are what we use to end the sentences. We use them at the far end of the sentence when the sentence is complete. In most of the cases, the general rule is that it comes at the right end of a sentence and there is no other punctuation mark used after a terminal punctuation. Now let's see their symbols and the rules to be followed. The first one is the full stop. The full stop is the most commonly used punctuation mark. It's used to end 2 types of sentences, declarative and imperative. So now let's understand it through some examples. I teach English. He was elected the president. He is working at Apple Inc. Here in this sentence, this word INC is the abbreviation of Incorporated Company. So at the end of this, there is the use of full stop. And if it's used at the end of the sentence, then there is no need of another full stop. One thing is common in these 3 sentences. They all are giving some information. They are declaring something. So these sentences are declarative sentences. And at the end of these sentences, we use the full stop. That's called the period in the American English. So we have seen 2 functions of a full stop: as a sentence ender and after an abbreviation. Now let's see the use of full stop in the imperative sentences. Imperative sentences are commands or requests, and these sentences end with the full stop, as you can see in these examples. Don't cry over spilt milk. Let me know about your hobby. Please give me your pen. Do you notice that we use full stop at the end of these sentences? So, the full stop is used at the end of the declarative and imperative sentences, and it's also used after the abbreviation of words. Have a look on the examples of the abbreviations. etc. This is used for etc. E full stop, G full stop. It's an abbreviation of the Latin term exempli gratia, and it means for example. In the same way, there is one more example, I.E. It's the abbreviation of id est. That means in other words, or that is. Dear students, all these abbreviations are most commonly used in English writing. That's why I gave you these abbreviations for example. Now let's proceed further and take up the next terminal punctuation symbol, that's the question mark. And it's also known as interrogation mark. It's quite simple and straight. Whenever we ask a question, we put at the end of that sentence a question mark. It's used to indicate a direct question when placed at the end of a sentence. Do you want to have some examples? Here are some examples. Are you happy to be home? What is the next level of this project? Have you read the book Who Moved My Cheese? These are three different types of questions. The first question begins with the helping verb, are you happy to be home? The second question begins with the WH word, what? What is the next level of this project? Question mark. The third question is, have you read the book Who Moved My Cheese? Just pay your attention towards this question mark, which is included in the title of the book, Who Moved My Cheese? But it's also functioning as the end mark of the question also, indicating that it's a question. So there isn't any need of using another question mark. The question mark of this title will act as a question mark for the whole sentence. Now comes the exclamation mark or exclamation point to meet you. This mark is used to express or to convey the strong emotion or a sudden outcry. At the same time, it's used to add emphasis. It's our intonation that expresses our emotion when we speak English. But when we write English, this is the exclamation mark that shows the strong emotion. For example, let's have a look on these two sentences. I'm reading them aloud. Just notice the difference. I'm really excited about my new job. I'm really excited about my new job. The first sentence looks like the declarative sentence, but the second one conveys the strong emotion or feeling, and there's a use of this exclamation mark at the end of that sentence. That's why it's an exclamatory sentence. What a great idea! This sentence ends with an exclamatory mark, and there will not be any other punctuation mark used after this. Another place where we can use this exclamatory mark is after the interjections. And interjections are those words, they don't have a meaning but they express sudden emotions, and the examples of interjections are wow, hurrah, ouch, oops, etc. They all are used to show different kinds of emotions. Like, wow, what a beautiful picture it is. Oops, I missed the match. So dear students, these are three terminal punctuation marks that are used at the end of the sentence. Well, let's have a quick revision now, and we will do an exercise. So the understanding of these terminal punctuation, it will be deeply enrooted in your mind and in your memory. You will not forget these rules if you will practice these exercises. There are 5 sentences given in this exercise. You just try to add full stops or the question mark or the exclamation mark where you find it's necessary. Please pause the video here and read the sentences and take a notebook and write down these sentences and put or add these punctuation marks in your notebook, and then restart the video to check your answers. Dear students, I just give you a clue. While doing this exercise, please mind the capitalization also, as you know that the first letter of the sentence should be in capital, so don't forget to apply that rule also. Dear students, here are the answers. Just check your answers. If you have any doubt, ask in the comment section of this video. I would be happy to answer your questions, your queries. Dear students, I hope you must have understood termination, punctuation in this video, and stay tuned for the next lesson in which we will talk about pause punctuation and rest of the punctuation that are really important. Now it's time to check the answers of the quiz which we had in the beginning of this lesson. The answer of the first question is, a sentence has a full stop and a capital letter. So the option C is correct for the first question. The answer of the second question is, always capitalize the pronoun I. The other options are not correct, as we don't write the pronoun we if it's in the middle of a sentence in the uppercase. And likewise, not each and every word would be written in capital in a sentence. But of course, the first letter of every sentence would be written in capital or in the uppercase. The answer of the last question of that quiz is no. The question was, do you study English? Is this correctly written? As the first letter is not written in the capital and there is no question mark at the end of this question. So, grammatically, it's not correctly written. I hope you have got all the answers of the quiz. Thank you for joining. See you in the next lesson. Bye for now. Happy learning.